Today, I want to chat to you a little bit about what I've been writing about how school has failed us. Now, this is a controversial topic, and I know that I'm stepping on a whole lot of toes here, but hear me out. Hear me out about what I want to say, and then we can discuss it later. Happy to discuss this. Now, for a lot of people, school was the best years of their life. They did amazingly. They love it. They still meet with their school friends, and it set them up for life. And I appreciate that. I like what it's done for so many. But I think for the majority of people attending school globally, school definitely did not work for us. And I want to include myself into that. I went to a pretty good school. We had, good teachers and good classrooms and an average sporting achievement. But overall, it wasn't the school that failed us. It's the system of education. The problem with education is that it's a compliant process, isn't it? Right from the beginning, we told if you conform and if you follow the rules, stand in line and follow the rules, you will then pass. So they're introducing a do-get model for us, is that this is what we do and this is what you're going to get. And if you do good stuff, you're going to get good stuff back. And when I went to school, there was a whole lot of discipline that happened. And it said, if you don't do these, this is what you're going to get. And there was a level of accountability, basically at the end of a ruler or a long stick. And we were brutally beaten. We were shouted at, we were screamed at, we were held captive in what they called detention. And we were told to be compliant. Those who were compliant did very well. They learned, they regurgitated, they went out. And it's really interesting. Very few of the people who did well at school ended up doing well in life. Some of us who did really badly at school ended up doing pretty good in life as well. So I want to list 5 things that I think school got wrong, and I want to see where we're going with it. So remember the don't do, get model. So the first thing that school did wrong for us is that it said, if you try harder, you will get better results. And this whole thing about focusing on work equals effort equals reward. And this is a wonderful kind of Western capitalism, Calvinistic approach to life. And it works. And, you might be listening to this and going, what's wrong with that? Well, nothing. But it's not the answer to life. So the first thing, if you try harder, you will get better results. The second one is the more you learn, the more you will earn. And I remember knowing that is that everybody, if you do well at school, your earning potential is going to be so much better, because if you can drive through education, leave school, get into university, get a degree, get an honors, get a master's, get a doctorate, you will be earning at the top of your game. And for mostly it is correct, but it is not all correct. And it is not all roses. I know quite a lot of people with a very high level of education that are still unemployed. There's guarantee of the more you earn, the more you'll learn. Literally, it's a matter of compliance and into the education field. One thing that I learned as well is education is geared to create education. Have you ever thought of that? People in education have got very little experience anywhere else other than in education. And there was a big force to get to me to become a school teacher, because I just kind of fitted the mold of, well, can't do that, become a school teacher. It's not that hard. You just have to, do stuff and help other people become compliant. Clearly, I wouldn't have not made a good school teacher. The third one is, this is probably the biggest failings of school, is focus on your weaknesses and you will become stronger. So if you failed a lesson, you did extra lessons. If you couldn't catch a ball, you did occupational therapy. If you couldn't run faster, you did extra running. If you didn't do anything at the level of compliance, you were forced into extra lessons. And we had extra maths and extra language and extra sport and extra everywhere. And it's a lovely upsell to your parents' wallet. And it's a great thing. And even nowadays is that I was speaking to, and may I never find another teacher that would ever say this to again. She was quite adamant that she taught extra lessons after school. And she was saying, well, if I don't teach well at school for my salary, then all the kids sign up for extra lessons. And that is tax-free income for me. Now that is just horrific. It is diabolical. It's treason. And may I never find another teacher that has that approach to her education. But the idea of becoming mediocre at your weaknesses instead of genius at your strengths is a complete failing of the school system. My son went to extra lessons right from when he was little, but he did extra lessons at stuff that he was good at. He was good at art, so he did extra lessons at art. He was good at maths, so he did extra lessons at maths and produced a very different graduate and a very different person entering the workforce than where I was forced into this sort of system. So number 4, other people's opinion should be taken at advice. So other people's opinion is not advice. It's purely that opinion. But when you're vulnerable and young, you do not know. If a teacher says, I think you should do this, it's not a fact. It's not a prophecy. It's not advice. It's purely an opinion. I think you should play this sport. I think you should become this. I think you should do this. Other people's opinion. And we learn that, and we look up to educators, and we look up to managers, and we look up to leaders, and their opinion over our lives is not necessarily a good thing. Your opinion is clearly your opinion and not a directive, not a guidance, not an order for my life. Then the final thing, step number 5, why 5 things that school got wrong with us. Number 5, focus all your efforts on things you cannot control. Oh my goodness, this is so prolific now with social media and with media that's going out. People get obsessed with things they actually have no control about. Me sitting here and getting hyperventilated about the war in the Ukraine and the Middle East and what is happening across some ocean in some political system, or even my own country's political debate, and find, why am I wasting emotional, physical energy on things that I do not have an influence over? If I focus on the stuff that I have control over and influence over, my life is so much better because then I have control over. So I just wanted to drop that into your lap this week, is that my proposal is maybe the school system is broken, was broken, maybe will be broken for a while until we fix this. What is the alternative for education? How should we be educating our children now for a future that we have no concept of what it's going to look like? That's the debate that we should be having. Surely education needs to be changing, and it is in some countries, and it is in some schools. But for the vast majority of schools that I've been involved in and looked at and spoken at and interacted with kids at, the system was, is, and probably will be broken for some time. My name is Bruce Wade, hoping to shake the cage and have a conversation. If you want to have a debate about this topic, very happy to engage with you in person or below. But let's be kind to each other.